Okay, we're doing halakha pesuka for Thursday for Parashat Miketz. Lo ta'adeh isha edia ish. A lady, a woman should not like adorn herself with the ornaments of a man. Things that are typically things that are worn by a man and not by women. Okay, go on, like an example. Shetasim beroshav mitznefet. She puts on her head a turban. Let's say turban in many cultures are worn only by men. So a woman is not allowed to put the turban on her head. Or kova, or type of hat that is worn typically only by men, not by ladies. Or shetilbash shirion, or she would wear an armor. It was a long time ago, people used to wear armors. They would go to war. So a woman that would wear an armor.
Shabbat talk about can you go out in Shabbat and it
With wearing an armor.
A nice thing to do.
Right, so but that would be something only for a man. Right. If a woman was to wear something like that, that would not be permitted, and that would be a transgression of this commandment. V'chayotze what? Yeah, but we're talking about wearing an armor now, okay? V'chayotze bo, or something similar to that, or harosha keish, or if she shaves her head like a man would shave his head, also that would be included in the same avera. Now on the other side, ish edi isha, and a man should not wear ornaments that typically a woman would wear. Kegon shilbash bigdei tziv'onim, like if you would wear like colorful type of garments. Vechol zahav, or if you would wear like golden jewelry that a woman would wear, like certain things that in some cultures only women, like certain types of earrings or that type of thing, that also would be something, let's say, that women would wear that would not be allowed for men. Only in a place where that culture, they don't wear those type of things for men. Or they don't put that type of jewelry for men. Only women. Everything is according to the custom of that country. So the question comes into play, like you're saying, like you'd say, like earrings. Okay, there was a time where even in Morocco, some men wear a certain type of earring, and it was the accepted thing at the time for even a man to be allowed to wear that. But if you were then afterwards, there was other times where that would not be done. It would be only women. Then at that point, only women wear that type of thing. Then men would not be allowed. So it's called keminhag hamdina. Like let's say if you were in Scotland, people wear skirts. Men wear skirts, right? So that would be like a man's clothing. But if you were in a country where if you wear a skirt, they'd say, "Wait a minute, what is the guy doing? It's women's clothing." Then that would be assumed. It would be one of the isurim. It must be deoraita not to put this kind of clothing. Well, pants has another. And then there's another issue, which is sniut, which is modesty. So you have two aspects. If you were in a country, in a culture where women do not wear pants, only men, then you have the idea of it's a clothing of men. But if you're in a country where they wear it, the question is, are you transgressing a different type of transgression, which would be sniut, which when a woman wears pants, it would reveal certain things that would be not as modest as if she was wearing different types of clothing. Ish ada edi isha, if a man puts the ornament of a woman, veisha she'adta edi ish, a woman that wore ornaments that are typical for men, lokin, what is lokin? They're liable to flogging, which was the way that the punishment for mitzvot lo ta'aseh. Hamlaket se'arot levanot mitoch hashehorot merosho. If a person gets rid of white hairs, a man who gets rid of white hairs from amongst the black ones, he doesn't want to look like older, just like women. They dye their hair, they do all sorts of things. Or mizekano, from his beard. Because that kind of approach of trying to get rid of the white hair or gray hairs is something that would be typically something that women would do. That would be also something that would be considered to be in this category of things. Also, if he dyes his hair, from the moment that he dyes one hair, he's already has done already a transgression. We don't need a certain amount of hairs, even one hair. Tumtum ve'androginos. Tumtum and androginos is two types of people. Tumtum is a person who has a membrane over his organ. We don't know if he's a man or a woman. androgynos is a person who has both sexes. He's both have the man and the woman aspect. אינו עוטף כאישה ולא מגלה ראשו כאיש, אם עשה כן אינו לוקה. Such a person, then he's neither a man nor a woman, he's in between. So he shouldn't do things that are typically only for one sex and not the other, only for one gender and not the other. He shouldn't do one that would make him like one or the other. But if he did, in all okay, he hasn't done the transgression, because he's not, he's neither a man nor a woman. He's something in between. He's a safek. Yeah, ktovet ka'aka. We're speaking now. The next portion in the halakha pesuka speaks about ktovet ka'aka. What is ktovet ka'aka? Is tattoos. Tattoo is something that is forbidden from the Torah. It may be something that has gotten into fashion with people putting tattoos, unfortunately, but it should be known that it is isur min Torah to put a tattoo on one's body.
What about when they do agilim, on the tongue and all this stuff?
Well, if it's some, okay, again, we're talking if, in general, in the general culture, if it's something that is appropriate only for a woman and not for a man, then a man would not be able to do that which is typically for a woman, and the reverse. Now you're asking about something else. Somebody mutilating, harming his body and creating this piercing. I don't know. It's not this category of averot that we're talking about. It's something else, I mean, sometimes you wonder, it may be dangerous for them, like sticking things in their tongue and things like that. Shem Yishmo, Is not part of this halakha. It's not part of this halakha. Whether it should be done, I would tend to say it should not be done. What? Yeah, harm is, not. Okay, so if it harms the body, then definitely it would be asur. Okay, if it harms the body, definitely asur. Okay, that's the approach to take. But it's not the category here that we're discussing right now of a man wearing something that is more typically for women, or a woman wearing something that is typically for men. All right. Now, tattoo has another aspect which we're going to learn right now. כתוב כאמורה בתורה הוא שישרט על בשרו וימלא מקום הסריטה כחול או דיו. What is considered to be a tattoo that is asur min Torah? When he etches, he engraves over his skin, over his flesh, and he fills that space with kol, which is a type of a dye, or dio, or an ink. Or sh'ar tziv'onin, any type of dyeing material, any type of color, that after you etch into the skin or on the flesh, you fill it in with a kind of color, that's considered ka'aka. So tzva'im haroshmim, v'zeh haya minhag hagoyim, it was the minhag of the goyim, the custom of the goyim, sheroshmim atzmam la'avodah zarah, that they would do a tattoo, they would make a tattoo on their flesh, dedicating themselves to a certain avodah zarah. Klomar shu eved machur la. That means that he's dedicating himself to serve that idol that he etched on his body. Umursham la'avodata, and he's drafted to her service, to the avodah zarah. Ume'ed shirshom be'echad medvarim haroshmim, achar sheyisrod be'eze makom min haguf, ben ish ben isha loke. So when does a person become liable? Is it only after he finished the design that he was trying to put? No. As soon as he etches and he puts dye in one spot, as soon as that dye comes in the place that was etched, that was engraved, at that moment already he's liable for this transgression. So we need both aspects. That's why katav velo rasham betzeva, or sherasham betzeva velo katav velo rasham betzeva, or שרשם בצבע ולא כתב בסריטה פטור, עד שיכתוב ויקעקע, שנאמר וכתובת קעקע. Okay? So we're talking here about must have both elements, etching and putting the color. So if you only put the color, like sometimes you have parties, I'm sure you've seen actually parties where these people have like henna marking or sign of like this kind of tattoos that you can wash off. That, even though it's not a great idea to do, that would not be transgressing the averah that we're speaking about here, because there is no etching. It's only a temporary like color. Or if a person etched and did not fill with color, also he would not be liable for this transgression from the Torah of ktovet ka'aka. So we need both aspects. And unfortunately, like we said, there are many people today that do this as a fashion, but it's something that is asur min Torah. You should know that even it's not healthy to have all those dyes in the person. They get into the body of the person. There's other aspects, and then people regret it afterwards. And when they want to take it off, it's very expensive. and painful and not something that is easy to do. So if you know anyone who's young, who has in mind to do anything like this, discourage him. It's not a good thing to do, and definitely it's asur min Torah to do any